Welcome to the bold analysis. And I want to go straight to a question to one Johnson Sakaja, William Ruto, and UDA party. Do you really think that UDA can win the presidency and at the same time secure the Nairobi governor seat? Do you think that is really possible? I am saying that because from where I am standing, the intrigues about Johnson Sakaja's certificates being fake, or rather that are stopping his clearance, there is an element of truth and I'm going to look at it. However, even in the previous elections, there is a way he went through the system. Because it is just in this election that then IBC has found out that he cannot vie simply because of, not simply, but because of the degree. But then the truth of the matter here is, I am really wondering why someone who is aspiring to be a governor or just an elective seat, how much will it cost or what will it take to just register in a university and even take a course? Even if you take degree in sociology here in Nairobi, you can just take a course and at the end of the day you will get so that when it comes to elections, because election is a highly polarized game, you don't get yourself to where Sakaja has gotten himself. There is something that is really, there is something that I really don't appreciate on Johnson Sakaja, why he is at this place. Is Johnson Sakaja's certificate fake? No, it is not fake. However, the drama surrounding that certificate is what is questioning. Why people are raising questions about its authenticity. Because the university in Uganda has not given a statement. But let me take you through what has happened so that we get to sink in this analysis. Sakaja was supposed to be cleared on 4th June. That was on Saturday. The very day he did not go to IBC because his constituency is actually Kasarani. He's supposed to vote in Kasarani. So he didn't go. He was again supposed to go the following day, that was on Sunday. He didn't go, but then he was cleared on Monday. That one is on 7th June. The reason being was that his certificate was being flown from Uganda to Kenya. Because again, I ask, why would you think Sakaja would be delaying his clearance by 2 days? And speculation was out there that the certificate was being procured from Uganda. Cannot substantiate that. But however, the certificate arrived. And he was cleared to vie for Nairobi governor seat. It did not stop there because again, a petitioner went to IBC tribunal asking IBC to revoke his candidature, questioning the eligibility or rather the integrity of that degree certificate. The degree certificate he produced was that of Bachelor of Science in Management, and he received it on 16th October 2016. He studied online between 2012 to 2016. That's why I'm saying, if it is the same certificate that he presented to IBC in 2017, then of course, because alimaliza 2016, it is the same one that was presented in 2017. So IBC should maybe find out, is it the same one, because they have the files. However, if the certificate was available, why did it take 2 days for him to go to IBC? Or technically he was delaying so that he would go the last minute and try to jump through the process. Questions have emerged on between 2012 and 2016. By that time, he was a nominated senator, I think. He was a nominated senator in Nairobi by Jubilee Party. So, of course, he was enjoying the system and all that. But as a politician that has gone through the ranks of working for Mwai Kibaki in the run-up to 2017 general election, to forming the TNA party that will then emerge and camouflage to be the current the Jubilee coalition. So he's been within the circles of power. When this was presented, questions emerged on why would he study online for 4 years? Personally, I don't get it. If you are to study for 4 years, where would you go online? You can just study here in Kenya. But then, in one of an interview with Nyashinsky, one listed interview, he mentioned that he has never studied outside Kenya. They're contradicting statements on one Johnson Sakaja. It is not yet clear whether he studied there or whether that certificate is fake. However, when he was told to present proof that he went to that school, he was told to take the letter of registration, the payment, I think, proof of payment of fees there. Of course, I don't know why that is there, but that one, of course, he's going to get. How he completed the coursework, and there are just a lot of documents that was asked. I think also the nominal roll for those of us that if you went through university, there is that nominal roll, the one that you must make sure you sign before you even do the exams. And by the way, in my university, that is Masai Mara, you could not do the exams before you sign, and you pay full fees. Yes, so in this analysis, I want to be very straight to Johnson Sakaja. There were red flags that he just decided to ignore. Nairobi County in 2013, President was in Jubilee, President Uhuru Kenyatta, and the governor was from NASA, that was Evans Kidero. And remember that time Raila had a lot of powers in Nairobi because he could easily organize events, and this is the epicenter of the Kenyan economy. So the Jubilee Party worked up very well and laid up a strategy and fronted Mike Sonko, knowing very well that Mike Sonko also did not have very good-looking credentials in terms of running a city, did not have those managerial arguments to run the Nairobi as a city. But because they didn't just want the city, the Nairobi County Governor seat to go to the opposition party, they fronted one Mike Sonko, even though you know what happened. And before 2 years into the office, Mike Sonko was impeached and some of the roles transferred to the Nairobi NMS. NMS is the brainchild of President Uhuru Kenyatta. And the person heading NMS, General Mbadi, is from the military. That tells you, and the military has done a lot of work in Nairobi, by the way. You have to give it to them. A lot of the hospitals and what the constructions that have been done so fast, the people that have been in charge, if you followed the Madaraka Day celebrations, you will see the way the president was giving credit to the men in uniform. So that happens, and I want to mention one, that Sakaja did not pay attention to the real details. Ladies and gentlemen, I humbly request you to subscribe to our channel as we delve deep on this. The decision by President Uhuru Kenyatta sitting in State House to swap Ngatia's candidature with Igathe was not a coincidence. While at the same time Ngatia had campaigned, Ngatia had invested a lot in it, a lot of campaigns in it, but there was a last-minute trigger to bring in Igathe. And analysts argued that Ngatia also had the same problems with papers. So I think where Sakaja was seated, he ought to have thought, wait, why do you think they're pulling Ngatia? They're bringing in someone who might look like a greenhorn, but again, they're really pushing, and they were pushing Igathe down the throat of Nairobians. But after some time, people then, wait, I think maybe Igathe the best candidate in terms of academic credentials and what it takes to run a city. That trigger was one that Johnson Sakaja needed to pay attention to and see that hapa mbele mambo itakuwa moto. Mambo itakuwa moto. The interest in Nairobi is deep. And that move was a very laid trap to make sure that if there is a deep state interest to block any other candidate, or rather to block Sakaja, that was already a trap to block. Now look at the situation where maybe he's blocked. If he's blocked from the race, honestly, even if Jubilee are going to UDA are going to pull a magic, but already the narrative has run out, is out there that the leaders that they are fronting in the city are not qualified. And of course, with now strategy, it might be too late. So I think even if William Ruto wanted to win Nairobi seat, he needed to have paid attention to that and maybe pull a last minute trigger, withdraw Sakaja, because they knew that Sakaja had problems with these papers. I don't think this is a secret. To them, they knew, but of course, they have always thought that maybe it was going the way it went. Look at the way the presidential clearance was rigorous. 56 names reduced to 4. So this time round, I think IBC decided to do things different. Sakaja needed to pay attention to why Sonko decided to leave Nairobi politics and rather relocate to Mombasa. Look at it this way. Sonko decided to leave Nairobi. Do you think if the same way he's fighting his eligibility to vie in Mombasa, he will still struggle with it here? And in Nairobi, it will be very easy because he will be heading to court and mobilizing public, because Nairobi has a lot of support and there are those indigenous supporters of Mike Sonko. He will still be doing street and courts and that and staging dramas and causing the attention. It will still have worked at some point. But because he had sat in City Hall for 2 years, I think there are things that I just want to perceive that maybe there is an understanding. There is something that Mike Sonko saw in Nairobi politics, the cartels and a lot of the deep state interest in this city, that decided no. That was a very good indicator, not to say that Sakaja cannot vie, but then he needed to know how to play his politics well. The gentleman politics of saying that we are not tribal, I am cutting across, that is for optics. But behind the scene, you need to know whose interests are majorly in Nairobi. I think that is a question that he did not answer. And that brings me to the other red flag on UDA links, while knowing very well that he was with President Uhuru Kenyatta. I'm very sure if Sakaja would have just remained in UDA, in maybe Jubilee, and at this opportune time, between Ngatia, Sakaja and the rest, it will be very easy for the president even then to support, even if their interest, to work with Sakaja. Because Sakaja was not a greenhorn in Nairobi politics. And if anything, he's a very close friend to President Uhuru Kenyatta. But as I mentioned, did Sakaja and maybe William Ruto really have an understanding that they can conquer, win the presidency and win Nairobi County? That is really out of the blues. And again, it is in 2022 for the first time that the Kikuyu nation wanted one of their own to be in that seat. They've never. In 2017, it was Kamba. In 2013, it was Luo. So they wanted one of their own. Lastly, I think the State House lobby by Tim Wanyonyi would have really given Sakaja. They've spent some 5 minutes with Wanyonyi so that Wanyonyi will give him really a real picture of what it takes to vie in Nairobi and the kind of interest, the people he spoke with, so that he will really know that if he's going to play his politics, how he's going to do it. Otherwise, the questions about certificate is valid, but it is a very good tool. And again, it is one that is being used then to do some balances and checks and balances amongst these leaders. And I'm waiting for any other leader, maybe Ngunjiri, to come out and defend Sakaja on this. I'm really waiting for how UDA is going to handle this. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my bold analysis.